Malcolm. He is 65 years old. He was wrongfully judged and discriminated for being a sick person. How would you feel being forced to be something you're not? How miserable you'd be knowing this wasn't you. He had to go through this treacherous experience for 50 years. 50 years in fear, hatred, and embarrassment. 40 years ago, Malcolm was physically abused by his teachers. He was whipped, spanked, and kicked. Till this day, he is haunted by his traumatic corporal abuse throughout his schooling. With the growing cost of cars, Malcolm grew concerned as he wasn't financially stable to purchase a safe vehicle. We are privileged to be living as a teenager today rather than in the 1960s. Firstly, gay marriage was legalized in 2017. That's 2 years of freedom for the LGBTQ community. 2 years of being free to live their own lives as free human beings. In the 1960s, this community didn't have these choices. According to an article coming out of the Dark Ages by Gerald and Bedell, between 1967 and 2003, approximately 30,000 gay and bisexual men were convicted for a crime if their partners were female. These individuals would get arrested for expressing their true self. Men and women were expected to be together and not with the same gender. It was prohibitory. Gay or bisexual people were pressured into using conversion therapy, being forced to change their sexual orientation from homosexual, bisexual to heterosexual, using psychological or spiritual interventions. Conversion therapy wasn't a safe nor dependable choice. Shock therapy was used to try to stop people from being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. These patients had bands around their wrists while there were images of the opposite sex on the screen, brainwashing them into thinking they were straight. Just think about how they would have felt at the time, having to change their sexuality. This is why it is better to be a teenager today, because gay marriage is legal and we have freedom of sexuality. Secondly, schools in the 1960s were not safe environments for students. They were physically punished if work was not completed to a standard or if they misbehaved. Today we are lucky that we didn't have to go through this brutal occurrence. Malcolm, who experienced the detriment of corporal discipline throughout his 13 years of schooling, says, "I was belted 3 times. It was enduringly traumatic and continues to haunt me. I couldn't imagine how to handle the pain. For my brother to put up with the unbearable abuse for 13 years is astonishing. These teachers had no remorse for their actions and thought it was all fun and games. No student should have to be treated the way my brother was, even if they always misbehaved. No one deserves abuse. Till this day, corporal abuse still exists in Afghanistan, Iran, Malaysia, and more. I urge you to spread awareness and stop this abuse immediately. Students are privileged to go to school and not get brutalized by a teacher, because if students had unacceptable behavior, they'd be given a detention rather than being physically abused. Thirdly, cars in the 60s were not easily accessible as they were expensive. Cars ranged from $2,500 to $3,000 and more expensive depending on what they included. Late 1960s, airbags and seatbelts were developed and they were non-mandatory. Only rich people were able to afford cars with safety airbags and seatbelts. For people who didn't have as much money, they weren't able to purchase cars that were secure, which made people's lives more at risk every day. Tesla, a car brand, aims to transition into using sustainable energy. In 2015, Tesla manufactured a new car named Model X, which is proven to be the quickest and safest car in history, and it has a 5-star rating across every category from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Tesla believes the faster the world stops relying on fossil fuels and moves towards a zero-emission future, the better. In today's society, we are more aware and willing to help in order to better our planet for future generations. Therefore, it is better to be a teenager in today's society. Overall, there are many reasons to why life as a teenager is exceptional today compared to the 1960s. We can argue that there are numerous compelling evidence that proves today is a safer environment for teenagers. As I explained earlier, the LGBTQ community didn't exist back then. If anything, they were physically, mentally, and verbally abused by everyone for not reaching individual expectations. Alongside, corporal punishment was taken as an advantage by the teachers, intending to correct their mischief behavior. The advancements of car technology demonstrates that cars today is much more secure and protected. Therefore, with all the evidence we have accumulated, it is proven that today is a dependable and stable society for teenagers.